you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Holographist coach, Christine McIver.
Welcome, 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 my friends. I am so happy that you are here with me today. Whether you are listening live on one of our over 55 live streaming locations, or you're listening to us in the podcast or watching us on TV, I am grateful that you've chosen to connect today. We have got another show lined up that hopefully will spark some questions in your world, maybe inspire you to choose something, maybe actually contribute to your business, to your joy, to your pleasure in your life. I'm super, super excited about tonight's show. And we have so many shows to choose from. If you actually go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.com and you can check out under the podcast tab, you can check out all the shows that I have done. I have over 300 shows there that you can check out. And that's not even all the shows I've done, but that's probably enough. Last week, we were actually talking about how to create luck in your business. I loved that show, because anytime that we can look at something that we feel is out of reach and we can actually pull that in and have that be part of a choice we can make. And talking about luck, I mean, how much luckier can you get, right? So whether you are listening to my show and you're interested in what I'm sharing, or you check out over 100 different hosts who have created, collectively, we've created over 6,200 episodes. You can check us out on the Inspired Choices Network. You can check us out on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, YouTube. You can go find us all over. You just come over and search and see what you'd love to learn about, what you'd like to be entertained by, maybe where you'd like to get some contributions. We will have a topic that's been spoken to, and the hosts that we've had are just fantastic. And the hosts we have currently are absolutely over the moon. And we're always just so excited about all the topics. And I'm excited about my topic tonight, and I hope you are too. So tonight we're talking about the love of Monday. Now, when I was thinking about it today, I was, how sometimes you ever talk things out loud to yourself? Well, I do. I live alone, so sometimes I like to hear a voice. And today, when I went to say it, what came out of my mouth was for the love of money. How many of us hear ourselves talk about for the love of money? And tonight, though, we're going to be talking about for the love of Monday. But I was very curious when that came out, because I'm always curious about what is actually occurring, or what is actually wanting to come through. Is money part of this conversation tonight? Well, when is money not part of the conversation? Especially when we're talking about business, right? Or we're talking about things that you desire. So tonight's show, I am going to be talking about business, because business is my jam and I love it. I love talking about business. Whether you are in your own business or you are working for someone else in their business, you're in business, my friend. Every day that you get up and you go to do something to generate income, you are in your own business. So we're going to be talking about business with the love of Monday, but we're also going to be talking about just your own relationship with yourself and your relationship with Monday. So I wonder how many of you, as soon as you heard the topic or you read the topic, went, there's a lot here. It's amazing. What I just love about what I create is I really get the, actually, this was a topic that was asked. One of my listeners asked me to create a show around the love of Monday. And whenever I do have a show that comes through the topic, whether it's requested or it speaks to me to speak to it, I start to receive awarenesses, and it's actually cracking me up how much there is about the love of Monday. So if you've never heard me before, if you don't know what I'm about, you can find my personal website inspiredchoices.ca. I do a lot of things. Like I said, my jam is definitely business. I love working with entrepreneurs. I love working with entrepreneurs who are getting started, but most especially, I love working with entrepreneurs that have started to lay things out, and maybe they're challenged, maybe they're looking to grow. I love working with entrepreneurs who are looking to grow and maybe get past some limitations and really make themselves visible in the world and show them how they can do that with pleasure. That is one of my most favorite things to do. I also have a program that wants to be spoken to called Divorce with Dignity. How many of you are in relationships and they're not working, and you don't know how to get through those relationships? You don't know maybe how to bring them to conclusion without actually going into severe debt or severe anxiety, angry with someone else? That's a program that I've been running for many years. And it's because I had divorces that were terrible. So, I really learned what not to do and then how to start to change that. Now, whether this is an intimate relationship, this is a relationship with a business partner, this is a relationship with a friend, the Divorce with Dignity program will work for you for sure. And again, you can be going through a divorce with a partner, or perhaps you're already through the divorce, but there's still so much anger laying within you, and you still have to manage through to the next relationship. This is a program that absolutely can speak to you. So do check out my programs. Any way that you would like to connect with me, I give everyone their first half hour absolutely complimentary. Let's see if there's a connection. Let's see what it is that you're looking to change, looking to grow in, and let's see if there's a match. Okay, so let's get into tonight's show, the love of Monday. Oh, Monday's yuck. Who wants to have to start their week, right? But what about the love of Monday? Where do you look when each day, week, month begins? Where are you at? Where is your attention, your focus? And what are those attention and what you're focusing on? What are they deliberately creating? Have you ever considered that? That each and every piece of what you're doing is actually creating something. The real question is, do you desire to match your deliberate choices? Do you desire energetically to match your deliberate choices? If Mondays are not your jam, and you know that you complain continuously or even occasionally in your mind or even out of your mouth about Mondays, and you desire more joy, more pleasure, more financial wealth, then this show is definitely for you to join. So it's really, really interesting. When I started to really look at this, I started to think about my own experiences and my own life. And, I've been in my own business for many years now. I've been in my own business now for 13 years. And, without getting deeply into being in your own business, one of the things is you have to be self-motivating. If you desire to be successful, you have to show up, and you have to really drive your business forward with your actions. Now, the fact of the matter is, you have to show up in your job, no matter what your job is, if you'd like to move forward in your life and in your finances, as well as your career. But I was thinking about when I was in the corporate world and what actually went on around Mondays. So oftentimes, I was in human resources, so I would see things that people were doing and saying from a different perspective, because my role was to really gauge what was going on in the organization, really gauge where people were at, if people were unhappy, if people were looking to grow, if people were looking to leave the organization, whatever the case may be. I had on a different set of eyes from the perspective of what was happening within the organization. And a lot of people would be watching the clock on Thursdays and on Fridays, especially They'd be watching the clock. Oh, only so much more time till the weekend. Only, and oh gosh, they'd come rolling in on Fridays. And that would start at the very beginning of the day. And I'm not saying one or two people. This went on with a lot of people. One of the organizations I worked in, we had 100 people in one large open room. And this went on with a lot of people. Now, I don't think, when I think back to this, I don't think that each and every one of those people actually felt as though Fridays were just the best, the best, the best. And I think that a lot of them were maybe replicating what they were seeing others around them. They were going with the crowd. And to say that you actually weren't looking forward to the weekend, or to say that you love Mondays and couldn't wait to come back to work, that would have been laughed at. You would have been laughed at in the corporate world. And I believe that that still goes on in many, many organizations. How many of you have ever said on a Friday afternoon, I can't wait for Monday? I can't wait for Monday, right? Not too many of us. Not too many of us at all. Oftentimes when I think about where you are in your life, or where you are in your week, or in your month or your year or whatever, and people are saying, oh, I can't wait until this time. I can't wait until that time. What I can hear my mother say, stop wishing your life away. So how many of you out there are actually wishing your life away? How many of you are wishing that this day would end? This week would end, this month would end? How many people are seriously wishing that the pandemic would end? Yeah, I would like it to end as well. But when we're wishing that something would end, where is our energy? What are we actually sending out to the world when we're in that space of wishing for something to end? If you're with someone, if you're spending time with someone, and the whole time in your head, you're thinking, oh God, I wish this person would just leave. What's going on in your body? What's going on for you energetically, right? You're not really present with the person. You may be missing some very important pieces of information about yourself and about the other person. When you are living in the past, or you're living in the future, my friends, you're giving up. You're giving up the direction of where you would like to go. It literally is like you're driving a car and you're thinking about the past, or you're thinking about the future. It's like you put blinders on and you're driving your own car. You're not seeing where you're going. You're not present with what is actually being created right in front of you. And you are creating what is happening right here, right now, by the choices that you are making and the thoughts that you are having. And if you are wishing that this would end, or you wish that you were in yesterday, or you wish you were in tomorrow, you're missing so many opportunities to create something even more amazing in your life, and in your business, in your relationships with yourself. And this is why it's so important that we pay attention to where we are and what we are doing in the moment. So back to that whole story about people wishing that it was the weekend, wishing that was the weekend. Well, then what actually occurred a lot of the time, right, was come Sunday, people would start to get sick. They would get sick on Sundays. Now, I know that a lot of people would make that up and they would be like, I just don't want to go back to work. I can't handle Mondays. I can't handle Mondays. That's apparently their voice. And their bodies would genuinely respond with illness to support them not going back, because they are thinking these thoughts in their head, and they're actually manifesting this illness to create their desires. It's honestly true. I have watched for years people do this again and again, and they hated Mondays. Now, whether you like Mondays or you don't like Mondays, you need to look at what's behind that emotional state with Monday. Because, my friends, that is contributing to you or taking away from you. If you know what it's contributing and why you like Mondays, you could maybe turn that up. You could maybe apply that to other days. And if you know why you don't, well, you get to look at that as well. And then you can make a choice if you want to change it because you have a different desire. So it comes down to our choices again and again and again. Comes down to our choices. And right now, we're going to choose to go on our first break of the show. Now, while we do that, I really want you to sit with and think about your experience of Mondays. What do you really feel? And look at where you've been in your life, where you are now, but look at your experience of Mondays in the past and start to look at, are those some of the things that I wouldn't want to be doing today? And then ask yourself, is any of that still with me now? So, my friends, you are listening to Inspired Choices with myself, your host, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hey, my friends. Thank you for being here, and thank you for joining us in the second segment of today's show, The Love of Mondays. Now, generally, I don't have you go and look at what you did in the past, but it's really important sometimes for us to visit that and actually check in on where our thoughts were, where our energy was in the past to see what's going on today, right? Like, we all make changes. Change is actually something that is occurring constantly. And our experiences of what goes on around us, within our homes, within our families, impacts us a great deal. For some people, some people really love Mondays because what's going on in their home is not a contribution to them. If you were ever raised in a home where there was violence, where there was any kind of abuse, come Monday, everybody kind of left the home. And if you were a child, you got to go to school and you were really, oftentimes feeling in a safer space. If you were someone who was unhappy in the relationship, you got to get away from that person. Maybe you're someone that was in a marriage where you were being verbally or physically abused. Mondays was a relief in some ways, but in other ways, if you trying to show up and be a happy person, or show up without showing what was going on in your lives, would create Monday as being very, very difficult. If you're in that space today and you need support, please email me. I would really love to support you. Christine at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. If you are a child that happens to be listening to this, please reach out to an adult that you feel safe with and let them know that there's something wrong at home, because that's not great. Now, if that has been an experience of your life, you could have attached those experiences of your past to Mondays. So you're actually dragging your old experiences forward with you each and every day. And there could be a big trigger around Mondays, or Mondays could feel like your savior. So let's say you're not in a difficult situation on the weekends anymore, but you still are energetically in that space of not really relaxing, not really enjoying, not really exploring and having more pleasure in your life, more joy in your life, more rest, more ease in your life. These things we need to look at because they set us up for the next step that we take in our lives. And if you've ever wondered why I'm no longer in that physical space, just like the Divorce with Dignity program, right? If you're no longer in that space, but yet you're still experiencing that emotionally, consciously or unconsciously, that's having an effect on the choices as you move forward, right? So the love of Mondays for me, yeah, there was some chaos in my home for sure. There was a lot of different people around. There was a lot of different energies happening. There were times where it was not a happy place, and there were times when it was incredibly joyful and happy. And so Mondays could be a savior, or Mondays could be, oh, I didn't want it to end. How many of us are in that space where we don't want the weekend to end? We don't want Mondays to come because we're having so much fun on the weekend, right? Again, if you are choosing to stay connected to something in the past, it is impacting your present and what you're desiring to create. So for me, I have always loved Mondays. I love the experience of waking up on a Monday morning and going, yay, it's Monday. Monday for me has the energy of we get to do it again. We get to try again. I get to put my best forward, my best foot forward again. It's a fresh start. It's a new start. It's a new beginning, right? For some people, a new beginning might be a new month, or it might be a new week, or it might be a new year, right? For many of us in Canada, because that's where I am, September feels like a new beginning, right? And we put a lot of joy or not connected to September, because September is when we go back to school. North America, we have these hard winters sometimes. And so the summer is just such a beautiful time that we take off. And then September, we begin again. And people have a lot of emotions attached to, a lot of experiences attached to these different times of the year, different times within our lives. A lot of people that live in, and this would crack me up a lot of people that do live in Canada or live in places where there's a lot of snow in the winter months, they absolutely dread some of these months in the winter. And I would often say to them, well, move somewhere where you're not dreading a day. Move somewhere where you're not dreading an experience. That's why a lot of people in winter climate, they actually go somewhere where it's nice and warm during the winter months. If you have the opportunity to do that, do that. If you don't want to live in a climate that has winter, then move somewhere else. This is your life. Don't grudge yourself through days and months being sad or depressed or miserable. What is that adding to your life? What is that adding to your body? What's the experience of that? So it's really important that we really look at the piece around Monday, and especially as a business owner. As a business owner, the energy that you're putting out to the world, we absolutely know, and if you've listened to any of my shows in the past, you know that I am a firm believer. I know very much through experiences that what we are desiring, focusing on, and continually cultivating within ourselves, within our words, within our thoughts, within where we focus, is what we are going to create. So if Mondays for you is not something that contributes to you, if Mondays bring some terrible energies up, or you just are dragging your butt into your office, dragging your butt to wherever your business is or wherever you go to work, okay, I'm going to be really strong with you. You need to smarten up. You need to smarten up. And because, my friend, every day that you open your eyes and you breathe is a new opportunity to create your desires. What's the alternative? What is the alternative? If you are not happy with your life, if you're not happy with an area of your life, do whatever it takes to change it. If you want to have different creations, you want to have a different career, you want to have a different relationship with your body, a different relationship with a lover, a different relationship with your family, a different relationship with yourself, reach out and get support. Do what it takes to change it. Living a life of regret and frustration and anger is only going to beget more anger, more frustration. It can lead to illness. It can lead to severe depression. And for some people, it actually leads to suicide. Now, I don't, I could talk about suicide for days, but I don't want to see someone choose that if things were different in their life that they could be happy with. And again, if that's where you're at and you need support, reach out. I am happy to speak to anyone. I have an intimate relationship with people that have chosen that, and I understand that more than maybe most do. And I have no judgment around it at all either. But my friends, let's get back to this whole discussion about Mondays. If Monday is something that really taxes you, you've got to be willing to unpack that. You have got to be willing to look at that. You're the only person, only you can change what's going on in your world. And if you're someone that has just put their head down and they're just in the grind and they're just doing what they have to do to get to the end of the day, why? Why? When I hear so many different people that I've communicated with over the years talk about, yeah, it's a job, it pays the bills. I'm just like, what in the world? Why would you do something that's the only thing that's actually contributing to you? Why would you choose something that you have to do? And I'm saying have to do for 8 or 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks out of the year for 40 or 50 years. Why would you do that when there are an infinite number of choices in the world to be happy? Yes, we have to pay bills. Yes, we have to take care of our families. Yes, we have to feed ourselves and clothe ourselves. Yes, but it's not as if you don't have choices. When I first started my business, I was working at home and I also had a part-time job somewhere else. There are many people that start their business working full-time for somebody else, and they do it in the evenings or on the weekends, all right, to get them started. How deeply do you desire change? I've said this before, 80% of people change out of pain. 20% of people change out of pleasure. They see what they want and they go for it. They don't wait until they're in a no choice situation, a terrible, terrible, deep, depressed, very maybe angry or violent place. They choose because of their desires. So what would it take for you to actually make your choices based on what you desire instead of what you're trying to run away from? Now, yes, we oftentimes need to have terrible things come up before we'll start to choose, but you're a more intelligent person today than you were yesterday. You can start to cultivate a different experience of your life. This is within your power. Every single person has that ability. And every single thing that you have in your life right now, no matter what it is, you have made choices to get to that point. So if I haven't lost you, if you haven't said to hell with you, Christine, and run away, I would love for you to stick around for our next, after our next break. We're going to dive in a little bit deeper, and I'm going to come up with some ideas for you to consider. So you're listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Hey, my friends. Oh my gosh, we're having so much fun tonight. We are playing in the chat room, and I just love to have so much fun on my shows. I absolutely love doing my shows. I've done shows since 2011. I've been talking a lot, my friends, and I'm going to keep on talking because you know what? I have fun and I do what I enjoy. And I do. And there's a question in the chat room. Does she wear pants during her shows? Yes, I do. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's get back into talking about Mondays. Mondays. If you are someone that doesn't enjoy Mondays, or let's pretend it's Sunday. It's Sunday, you wake up and you're not working. Like a lot of people do work on Sundays, but let's say you're not working on Sunday and you wake up and you're enjoying your morning and maybe you have your morning coffee and you sit Maybe you're sitting outside enjoying the birds and the sunshine, and maybe your children are playing and they're having fun, and everybody's just chilling, and it's a really lovely day. And then it's time to maybe, I don't know, do the laundry or something. Maybe that's something you do on Sundays, just lazily take care of that. Or maybe you go for a nice walk, or you're reading a book, and then it's time to start getting ready for dinner. This is often when people start to go, oh, Sunday night dinner. Because what comes after Sunday night dinner? Getting ready for Mondays. And there's a lot of energy. Can you feel that as soon as I said that? Did you experience that as a child, or maybe you're experiencing that now as a young mother or a young father, or someone who is not enjoying their job on Mondays, not enjoying what's going on in their business on Mondays? Do you experience that on Sundays? Well, if you do, even 1% or 100%, I wonder what your life would be like on Monday if you started to change that on Sunday. I wonder what that would be like. Here's a really simple way to begin to change that experience of Monday, is asking a question. Now, I'm going to give you a question, and when you first start to ask it, it's going to be, it might feel like, oh God. But as you continue to ask it, you will shift more into curiosity. And that's where you want to be, is in curiosity. All right. The energy of curiosity is open. The energy of curiosity is the ability to begin to receive new possibilities. Okay. So if you can get with this question to the space of curiosity, you can start to change what's actually being created on Mondays. So ask yourself this question. I wonder what Monday's going to bring. Now, most of us are like, oh, I wonder what Monday's going to bring, right? When you first asking it, if you don't like Mondays, oh, I wonder what Monday's going to bring. Keep asking. I wonder what Mondays are going to bring, because the energy will start to shift. I wonder what Monday's going to bring. I wonder what Monday's going to bring. I wonder what Monday's going to bring. Play with this. Play with this and see how quickly you can start to change this. Even if you were just repeating this 10 times over the course of an hour. I wonder what Monday's going to bring. I wonder what Monday's going to bring. And then before you know it, you're going to be like, I wonder what Monday's going to bring. It starts to shift. First of all, you have to have the desire to have your experience of Monday shift. You have to. And you have to have your experience. You have to have desires. Do you have desires? Do you have desires of what you would love to have in your life on Mondays? Do you have desires of what you would like to turn up in your business, in your career, in your relationships? Do you have desires? Now, I'm going to tell you that we were created to continuously have new desires. I've talked about this before. You as a human being are wired for continuously reaching for more, constantly. All right. We have the ability to be curious. We have the ability to be playful. We have the ability to continuously choose something greater and greater and greater. We have that ability. And I'm here to tell you that that desire within you is not going to go away. I've said this before, is I used to think, I wish I would just be satisfied. No, don't ever wish that, because you're going to start to turn down the possibilities. You're going to start to turn down what maybe is waiting for you to choose. All right. There is always choice in every single thing that you are creating. Right? You can choose something and go, okay, this is not working for me. I thought it was going to be this experience, and then it's not. I chose a career in human resources. I chose to go to school. I spent, 4 years going to college. I then took a whole bunch of extra courses. I studied to get my certification in human resources. I spent a lot of time and a lot of money. I got involved in my local association. I spent years investing and investing and investing in that career. And then it got to the point where I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. I wasn't making anybody around me happy because I was unhappy. I wasn't really contributing in the way that somebody would if they were happy to the organization, because it was time for a change for me. And so I chose something else. And as I started my business, I kept choosing and fine tuning and really kind of trying something on to see, is this something that would be fun for me? Is this something that would be enjoyable? Does it actually, as I contribute to it, does it actually, whoops, sorry about that. Does it actually contribute back to me? Right? You want to continue to test things and try things. Well, when it comes to not enjoying something and you're dreading Mondays, you set the stage for that day and for that whole week. Because I'm telling you right now, my friends, if you wake up regretting that it was Monday morning, that energy, you've just planted that energy for your whole week. Because you don't wake up on Tuesday morning and go, woo, it's Tuesday, yes. No, you don't. You just don't. Because this energy that you keep marinating stays with you until you make a conscious choice to choose something different. What are you teaching people around you when you regret that it's Monday morning? What does that teach your children? Because whether the words are coming out of your mouth or they're watching your actions, I can tell you they are paying attention to what you are doing and experiencing, and most definitely creating. What are you sharing with your clients, with your customers? What are you sharing with your coworkers, with your boss? What are you sharing energetically when you walk into your job? Are you dragging your butt, putting on the hi, false face, or are you really happy to be there? And if you're not happy to be there, for God's sakes, choose something else. I want you to imagine, I am really fired up about this. I want you to imagine 10 people in a room, and 7 of those people are unhappy. There's no words need to be spoken. Nothing needs to be said. You will walk into that room and you will feel that energy. And I said 7 because I want to make it like so obvious, right? Just imagine yourself walking into a room. I'm sure you've walked into a room before where one person was unhappy. They didn't say a word and you were like, oh, what the hell's going on here? All right. As you turn up and you ask for more awareness, you're going to get that awareness of where people are at. My friends, there are 8 billion people on the planet. There are 8 billion people on the planet. If more than 50% of these people are unhappy, their energy is like a sneeze. You're going to get it on you. If you're part of those people that are unhappy, you are spreading that unhappiness. You're spreading that into your future. You're spreading that into your home. You're spreading that into your bank account. You're spreading that into everything that you are doing because you are unhappy. You have a responsibility to choose happiness. I'm saying this very seriously. You have a responsibility to choose happiness because you impact your life and the lives around you. You impact your environment. You impact your future, your present, all your creations, your bank account, your body. You impact our healthcare system. You impact everything when you are unhappy. And I know unhappy. I have been in places where it's so dark. I didn't think I would ever come out of it. But thank God that there was that spark inside of me that still wanted to be happy. And if you've lost that spark, go find it. Get the help to find it. There are a billion things that you could do to turn up your happy. If there is one thing that you do all week long that makes you happy, do more of that. Or if there's one person in your life that makes you happy when you talk to them more often. You've got to take the responsibility to change your position in your life and in your happiness. And it starts with making a choice. Every single solitary thing in your life has been created based on your choices. You have such a gift to be able to choose differently. And even if you are in a hell situation that you can't possibly see your way out, maybe you live in a country that it's terrible, maybe you live in a family that you just can't get away from, you still have the choice with your mental attitude to choose greater. If anything, your experience of you will be more enjoyable. But I'm serious, my friends. There is no excuse to stay unhappy. There's none. There is no excuse to be miserable. All you have to do is walk outside and look up at the sky, at the amazingness that's there, at the sun, at the moon, at the stars. Listen to the birds. Listen to the silence. Listen to the crickets. Walk through the snow. Watch a child. Play with an animal. Put on music. There is no excuse in the world that we live in today to be unhappy. I know people, my ancestors that, the tough things that they went through in their life. My mother, my mother's 97 years old, and she has been through so many things in her life. She chooses every day, 97 years, she chooses every day to be happy. She wasn't born into a lot of money, but she was born into happiness. You have a choice. She has a choice. I have a choice. I'm choosing to be happy. And I'm choosing to be more of me today than I've ever been before. And I'm going to keep choosing. Are you coming with me? Are you going to help to really create a world that Mondays are like, woohoo, it's Monday, just as much as, woohoo, it's Friday. Are you willing to create that world where there's so much joy you actually have to check your phone to see what day of the week it is? Are you willing to be that magical, to bring your brilliance, to bring your joy, to bring your choices to a place that creates greater happiness on this planet? Pandemic or not, you can always find an excuse to be miserable. Would you be willing to find an excuse to be happy? We're up for our third break. Please stay tuned, my friends. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Christine McIver on Inspired Choices on the Inspired Choices Network. See you shortly.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Thank you, my friends, for being here tonight. I've been having such a good time, and I've been doing a little bit of ass kicking, haven't I? If you've been following me throughout the whole show, we're talking about the love of Monday, and I wonder about the love of joy, and the love of pleasure, and the love of choice. All of this was wrapped into tonight's show. If you have any questions about what I've talked about, if you're struggling and you just don't know where to start, please contact me, Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to hear what's going on in your world. And who knows, I've been known to be able to give a lot to someone in 30 minutes, and that's not going to cost you a penny, but it might actually cost you some more joy for your life. So, what I really want to leave you with is I want you to look at the excuses that you hear in your mind or that you hear yourself saying. Start to get really present with your words. Start to get really present with your reactions to other people. Listen very clearly, because that's going to show you what's actually playing in your mind. All right. That's going to actually show you what has brought you to the choices that you are at today. What are the excuses you're using for not actually loving Monday, for actually regretting Monday or wanting it to be Friday? What excuses are you using to justify that that's where you should be, right? Remember, staying present in the moment allows you the opportunity to create even more, to receive even more in your reality. Paying attention to what you desire is one of the first steps. It's one of the first steps. Do you write down your desires? Do you even choose to pay attention to them? Do you give them any love and focus? Do you actually believe that you don't deserve them or it's never going to happen? Do you tell yourself these things? When you're doing that, you're not giving any space of possibility. You're not allowing those opportunities to even come when you shut them down that quickly with your thoughts and your words. Get deliberate, my friends. Make conscious choices. Follow what's inside of you. Follow that inspiration, right? That's where this show came from. Inspired Choices, my show, my business, and Thou the Network. It's all about choices. That's the greatest gift that we have, is our choices. And when you follow what's true for you, inside of you, what's inside of you, inspiring you, what is there asking for your attention, it's going to lead you in a place of joy. It always will. That's another great big show that we could be doing. I would love to hear your feedback on today's show. I'd love to hear about what's going on for you as you move forward over the next few days and weeks. I would love to hear that, no matter what day, no matter when you're listening to this. Next week, we have a show called What's Soul Got to Do with Business? And I have a fabulous guest, Jen Wood. She's going to be sharing with us something that she uses, a tool she uses in her business for both herself and for her clients. It's a magical tool. She's going to share all of that with us, and she's going to invite us into really choosing forward into more of that joy. So if that's something that you desire, is more joy in your life, more joy in your days, more joy in your relationships and your business, if you just desire more joy and more happiness, next week's show is going to be a contribution for sure. So you need to come back. I've got some more shows lined up. We're going to be talking about business. We're going to be talking about all sorts of subjects. No matter what it is, you can check me out all over the internet. You can watch the shows, you can listen to the shows. And I'd love to hear your feedback. Whenever I receive emails or texts or people contact me on social media, it's great to hear your experience. Remember, my friends, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you can always make another choice that's available to you each and every day. Until next week, my friends, take very good care of yourself and follow your joy. Bye for now.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.